Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 14 of the Cooler Guild. I'm your host, Coop, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host, Van.
Hello.
We are recording on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. On today's episode, we'll be discussing Reigns' come from behind win away at Louisville, as well as some other results around the league this weekend, and a very brief preview of the Reigns' next match. But first, we want to remind people the Cooler Guild is part of the Sounder at Heart podcast network. You can either listen to us on our public feed or if you're a Sounder at Heart subscriber on the private unified feed with the other podcasts on the network.
If you'd like to become a subscriber, just visit our page at sounderatheart.com/the Cooler Guild. New subscribers get 10% off the normal rate, and you'll help support everything we're doing.
Or we get into the match and everything else. How was your weekend?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Just been working out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gotta get in shape.
Yeah, I'm doing my CPAT in October, so.
How in shape do you need to get from where you are now?
A little bit more.
Okay. So you're on the right track. You don't have
Yeah, strength-wise, I'm good. It's the cardio.
Yeah.
It's the cardio.
It's always the cardio. Well, I went to Hood River this weekend, which the weather was great. I don't really get hot weather, where I'm at. So I finally got to experience immense heat, and that was great. Went to a winery for a day, and it was like the winery was like the tables were like in the garden.
Oh.
So that was like kind of cool because I hadn't been to one like that before in the gorge. Usually, I don't know. I feel like every winery out there kind of has its own experience, but yeah, we went out there.
Was it in Hood River or was it up in Parkdale?
It was I was actually on the Washington side.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got better wine.
I mean, it's very similar, but their wine was really, really good. But the setting was also really, really good. Like I'm definitely be going back there for sure.
I did get to go on a tugboat on Sunday.
Oh,
yeah,
well, that's big news.
Well, it's Harbor Days in Olympia. It was Harbor Days in Olympia, which is like the tugboat festival. And they had like an old decommissioned Coast Guard rescue tug out there.
Oh, that's fun.
I walked around that and went to their little museum that's in it. So that was pretty cool.
That's fun.
Watch the tugboat races.
They probably aren't that fast, right?
Well, they're like mini tugboats.
So no.
They're great. Yeah.
That's a great though.
It was fun.
Cool. Well, we had a rain game.
We sure did. We sure did.
We had a rain game win. Second in a row. What a great time to be a Rain fan.
Great time. These past 2 weeks.
It's only been 2 weeks, and the amount of suffering we've had for weeks. I don't know that we're at the point where the ratio is still not good, but wins feel so much better when we've been so bad.
Yeah.
So especially wins like this, against team who we just had a major trade with.
Yeah. Let's talk about the game.
Match recap.
Match recap for you.
Match recap, baby.
So this past Saturday, after a 90-minute weather delay, the match finally got started. Louisville got on score sheet first in the 6th minute when Ari Borges headed in a corner kick, the start of something bad. A few minutes later, Jess Fishlock was taken down in the box and the Reign were awarded a penalty that was ultimately converted by Sofia Huerta. In the words of Sofia Huerta, pick a spot, kick the shit out of it.
Yep. Goalkeeper almost got it, but she did good enough.
As the first half came to a close, Louisville struck again off another corner kick that was headed in by Taylor Flint, formerly known as Korniak. Luckily, the second half was all Reign. Ji So-yun was subbed in the 54th minute and was able to score a Golazo free kick in the 75th minute after Fishlock was taken down, this time just outside the 18.
Banger.
All tied up. Final tally of the night came from a Sofia Huerta corner kick in the 81st minute. G got her head on the ball, and then it hit off another player's head, a Louisville player's head, and into the back of the net. Another Reign win in the books.
We love it. Don't know exactly
Excellent.
where it hit on, I think it was Aaron Wright. Might have been her shoulder, top of her shoulder or head. I'm not really sure. Who
It was
cares?
her head.
Okay, who cares? He has general notes about the game before it started. We didn't have Laura Harvey available.
No, but we did get to see her tweet during the game, which was amazing.
Yeah, I was kind of worried for her stress levels, knowing what we know now about why she was like gone. And I was like, it seems like maybe someone shouldn't have allowed her to have her phone on her. But it's kind of funny because Louisville also didn't have their head coach. So it was one of our favorite people who we've yet to really meet, but always admire from afar. Carmelina Moscato was on their sidelines. So I was kind of interesting to to see it play out. And then Bug and Adames were unavailable, which had me nervous, mostly because of Bug's last game. I was really not looking forward to seeing what was going to happen in the back line there. But that meant Lester got the start.
Yeah.
I think it went okay for her.
Mm-hmm. Little bit of a nervy moment first half when she played a ball back, but I think that was a little bit environmental too, because the field was a little soggy in the first half.
Yeah, they
And the
had
ball was
quite.
just kind of dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was our first time playing Louisville since the Balser Howell trade on August 19th.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous for this game. I do think once the head coach thing kind of played out, I was like, who knows what's gonna happen? But it's definitely like a game I didn't want to lose because I just like I don't it's this felt like one of those things like did you win the trade or did you lose the trade? And if you lose this
Mm-hmm.
game, it's gonna feel like you lost the trade or
Mm-hmm.
like this maybe wasn't the right trade. But good news, we did it. Did you want to get into positives?
Yeah.
Positives of the game?
Yeah, I think this is spot on, getting a win without looking great.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the majority of possession. We didn't have more
Majority of
shots.
Yeah, we don't have the majority of most things
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of our results, the bad ones at least that were happening before the break, we were like racking up the shots and
Mm-hmm.
racking up shots on goal, but like nothing was good that was happening, which is kind of what if you look at the stats, that's kind of like what Louisville looked like. Yes, they got 2 goals, but they were like set piece goals. They didn't get any in the run play, so that's like great for us. In our
Well,
defense.
neither did we, but defensively, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think that it just it felt like when we were shooting, it wasn't really we weren't missing sitters,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
right? And again, is that it's kind of a negative because we didn't get the ball into dangerous positions. But same time, take what we can get, and that's how you climb in the standings is
hmm
getting a win when you're not playing your best.
Yeah, and because we have so many new pieces and we're kind of getting, I don't know, like our nine, for instance, used to all the players around her, it's not going to happen right away with getting, I would say, chances in the run of play. But yeah, it is good to make sure that they're not, I don't know, those sitters just like haunt me that we've been
I
having all
know.
season.
I know.
I think there was like a header from Haidema in the first half or something, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't
could have
know if
shot,
I would call that a sitter, but
but she could have aimed it a little bit better.
yeah.
But yeah, nothing too. That would have taken some skill to get that to a different area, unlike some of the other ones we've had.
Yeah, no egregious misses.
No, no, I wouldn't say so. Another bright spot, Ji Soyun. We've been
Yeah.
we've been waiting for a moment like this, just to
For a
be
moment like
like
this.
this. Ji Yoon, this is what we signed her for.
Yeah.
I keep saying this is what we signed her for, but now this is what we signed her for.
And we've been waiting for her to come in and really make an impact again,
Mm-hmm.
like she did in the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because we thought, she's going to need some adjustments into the league. She's 33 years old. It's going to be a minute.
Yeah.
And then she went and scored that banger
So good.
in like the first couple games of the season. I can't remember what game it was, but
She takes those shots. I mean, obviously the free kicks, she gets close, right? She gets real close. I don't know if maybe hoping that this opens the floodgates kind of thing.
yeah.
Give her that confidence and everything that we can do it here and that the rain also can win.
Yeah. That's the big thing because it just has been feeling like nothing's gone our way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like 4 games ago, that free kick would have hit off the crossbar and not gone in.
Which it did hit the crossbar.
Right, but it went in.
It bounced the right way finally.
Yeah. So, but yeah, her coming in the 54th minute for me, in my notes, I wrote 54th minute, King finally subbed off for G.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with King. And we're focusing on the positives, but
Yeah.
I do like that when we subbed in G, she got more minutes this time.
Yeah, we're not used to subbing in the 54th minute.
Yeah. So maybe that's a maybe Scott was like, I'm gonna finally do these earlier subs.
Yeah.
Which I do approve of. Maybe he can kind of nudge Laura to do more of these in the future. Because I do think like G coming on that early really helped her get what she needed at the end of the match.
Yeah, and somebody was saying in the Discord, because I was on the game thread in the Discord, saying like, well, here it is. We're going to wait for the 75th minute, and then we're going to get all these players. And I was like, I don't know. And they subbed in the 54th minute. And I was like,
Well, but yeah,
yes.
and I'm sure being down didn't help. Like they had to do something.
Right. We talked about that during the last game where, okay, we were tied. Why weren't we subbing? Well, it's like,
Hmm.
well, we weren't losing. We probably would have subbed
Yeah.
sooner if we had been losing and we were down. So
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, I forgot.
Oh shit. I need to get my beer, huh? I need to get my celebratory beer. BRB. All right, I'm back.
Cheers to the win. Oh,
I saw you had this one, so I went and grabbed the same one. I don't even know if I like Pilsners really. So I might hate this, but Van has we caught this again. We got a dub pod, and that means dub pod
beers.
beers.
Dub
So
pod beers.
cheers.
Cheers.
I think I heard that one this time from you.
It was loud. Clink.
Clink. Well, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the in case anyone's wondering, we're drinking the King Crispy. Van brought these to my house last time. Well, 2 times ago when you came over or something. You
Did
left
I
them in my
bring
fridge.
these?
Yeah, I think you picked them up at the store when we went to the store or something.
Mm.
And so Van Crisp has the crispy beer. Anyways.
Oh, what else were we talking about?
All right,
Oh,
back to the match.
back to the positives. It was nice to see Lou Barnes come back on.
Oh yes. Yes, yes, yes.
And I really think that the defense looked more organized once she came on the field, which is not surprising with her experience.
Yeah. I mean they closed out the game. So hopefully this is I don't know. We keep wondering when her and Fishlock are gonna hang up their boots. And I don't know. Barnes I feel like she's definitely slowed down, but for what she brings to the back line, as long as we have a little bit of speed somewhere else,
Yeah.
it can work. But happy to see her back for sure.
I would say also McLaren was a positive.
McLaren's solid.
She's so solid.
Yeah.
It's like it's why it's hard when Lou is back
Mhm.
and we have Bug, as you've kind of got like three really, really solid options, which is not a bad thing.
No, that's not at all.
But it's still like, who do you take off?
I mean, I think it's a matter of rotation, and then
Or do
I
you
mean,
just go into a three back?
we
Then
haven't
do you just go into a 3-5-2? But if you've got three of them available,
who takes the primary center? Is it McLaren?
probably Barnes.
Okay. Yeah.
That your two faster players on the outside.
Yeah, you definitely want Bug on one of the sides for sure. I think it'd be between McLaren and Barnes in the middle, but
Yeah.
I don't know
I
if
don't know. It'll be interesting to see when everybody's available, kind of what Harvey goes with in the back there.
yeah. Next positive player of the match. Not cooler player of the match, player of the match.
Mhm.
Sophia Huerta.
Yeah, just a solid game.
Yeah.
She's definitely got her groove back.
Yep. I think we figured out, I mean, because it was an own goal, right? Sophia Huerta doesn't technically get the assist for that.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting on that assist, right?
Yeah, she's still tied with Jess McDonald for assist leader in the league all time.
She's got to get that.
I know. Jess McDonald asked her about it in the pregame
Oh God.
because they had a bunch of time before the match started. So before they started replaying the last
Well,
Louisville
yeah,
game,
yeah.
they were interviewing. They interviewed. I can't remember who they interviewed for Louisville. It was probably Balser. But then they at one point they interviewed Huerta,
Mm.
and Jess McDonald's on the panel for the pregame. So she asked her about it. She was like, "Yeah, of course I'm trying to get that.
Yeah, I feel
This
like
is
it's
professional sports.
yeah.
Of course I want to beat you."
Remember when I mean, and they ended up tying, right? Obviously, Huerta's gonna get it at some point, but remember when Dempsey and Donovan were like tied for a long time, but Donovan had been retired, and then Dempsey just couldn't get that last goal.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been waiting so long for Huerta to get this last, like this game breaking or this record breaking assist, and it's just like it's gotta happen though. This is like her role in the team, so I'm just frustrated that it's we're still waiting.
Yeah, I think when it happens, it's gonna be when it's needed. So it's not an if question for me, it's a when.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's just I feel like I don't know. I feel like she's just kind of gotten in this like I don't know what you call it, but the team in general just hasn't been like lucky with stuff. So
I mean, like I was saying, that kind of changed with this game.
Yeah.
So I look forward to things with this team.
I know. We did get the win, which, sometimes I'm like, maybe we shouldn't focus so much on negatives, but seeing now that we didn't score any goals in the run of play, we definitely need to go over maybe what didn't work in the negatives.
Yeah, I
Also, yeah,
agree.
and there's some common themes once again returning, needing to come back from behind, be
Yeah.
number one.
6th minute too, man. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't want to. We didn't. I will say we didn't concede afterwards. It was like an early goal conceded, but we didn't concede right away afterwards. But yeah, that's something they need to. I don't know. I keep saying we need to fix this, and it's like, well, I guess we haven't.
Well, I think the theme there, other than coming from behind, is just our set piece defending.
Hmm.
They scored on us twice off corner kicks,
Yeah, everything from this game was set pieces, and then the penalty. So
which is a set piece.
yeah, so Louisville, you fans can listen to this and maybe just apply what we're saying to their own
Yeah.
team. um, but they did come back, so you know.
Yeah.
And they didn't score like all the goals late. Like they got one in the first half,
Hmm.
and then G scored not super long after she came on. So the game-winning goal was late, but I'll take it, obviously.
Yeah. Another negative, Laura Harvey's ulcer, which we didn't know why she was out. And then Parkinson mentioned in his pregame interview that like she was home from the hospital now. And we were all like, what?
Oh, what? Yeah, no. I mean, we're always everything's so mysterious, anyways, with this club.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if we're ever gonna find out what happened.
But then she started tweeting during the game.
Yeah, I was like, this cannot be good for my ulcer.
Uh,
I was like, it feels like maybe whoever was on your like team at the hospital, if you're trying to treat an ulcer, which, ulcers come from many different things in life, but I don't feel like adding stress about watching your team is going to be helpful for the ulcer.
I mean, it's also her job.
Oh, I know. But this is why maybe she should have taken a little break. But obviously she would have just been worried about it the entire time anyway. So does it make a difference? Probably not. So hopefully she's on the mend and we'll be back soon. But she needs to take a little break. Don't rush
Yeah.
it.
Another negative is we also had a goal called back.
They didn't even call it a goal though, right? It just was
No,
like,
she blew the whistle after it for either I don't think it was there's been no explanation.
no.
And but Howell kind of got in on this floating ball and kind of directed it in as she like went into the goal.
But
And there
it
were two players in front of her, so I don't know how it would have been offside, but
no. It wasn't
they
offside. It wasn't offside.
but they never said whether it was a foul or what they were calling. And then afterwards, Howell got a yellow
For arguing or whatever.
for
Yeah.
arguing, and then DeMello got a yellow.
Yeah, they both got yellows. And then
Okay.
I was like watching the highlights just to catch up on things again, and like they didn't have it in the highlights. And for me, like you and I were texting because I had like just tuned in because I was like out, drinking wine. But I got back and I started watching the second half of the game, and she was like, "Oh, you were like, oh, so you just caught that whatever the hell that was?" And I was like, "You mean the goal from Jalen Howell?" Like, I don't. I would still like to know what they thought they saw, or at least hear somebody say that this was a mistake because by all accounts to me, it was a goal.
Yeah, I mean, I can see an argument for a foul.
It would have been soft. It would have been very, very soft if it was.
Yeah, I
And if it was a foul, shouldn't she have like given the yellow? I don't know. I'm pretty confused by that.
yeah, I would like a pro referee's explanation of that one, like we
A
got for
referee,
the Huerta handball that shouldn't have been called.
yeah, I'd like to hear either from pro or I would like to hear from our favorite uncle, not Ted,
Christina.
Christina uncle. It's just weird because I feel like and I said this to you, I was like, they're kind of treating it like a nothing burger. And to me, it was kind of like worth looking at a bit more,
Yeah,
but apparently not. And it would have been so sweet too for Howell to score in her return to Louisville after getting traded as the captain of that team. That's like the storyline that I'm like kind of pissed about.
yeah, it must have been something else, because if it had been a foul, then it would have been VAR,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, there
VAR
was no
would have
VAR.
taken a look at it because
Mm-mm.
if it was in the run of play up to a goal. So she must have called something in the buildup. But
Yeah,
even then, don't you go to VAR for that?
you would think. And they kind of just brushed it off. They didn't really seem interested in going to VAR at all.
Which,
And the
yeah,
commentators didn't seem like that like upset about it either.
I don't know. It seemed weird to me.
Seems super weird to me. Not happy about that one. One thing and this happened after the game as well, while the Rain were celebrating, but Louisville really needs to tone it down on their their light shows and celebrations
It's the
during
dimming.
they're like flashing the lights out for like goal celebrations, which like I don't know why you would do that when like you want your photographers to capture this moment, right? And then you're just flashing the lights on and like on and off. It
And you
makes
want your fans to have a good time. And
yeah.
there's a huge cohort of people that have like visual sensory
Mm-hmm.
issues. And like it just, you don't need it. It's so unnecessary.
No, the game speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then like sometimes they'll have like light shows before the match, right? Like to kind of get people in the field or whatever. And then they'll warn fans ahead of time, like, hey, we're gonna have this light show before the game, so like don't come out into the field until, this time mark if you don't want to see them. But like doing the middle of the match completely makes that experience like you can't maybe attend the matches because of it. Just being in the middle of the game. With no warning, because that's how soccer works.
Yeah. I just think it's so unnecessary. It, it seems like it's trying to be like a concert or something.
Yeah.
It's something that it's just not.
No.
I mean, granted, there were only 5,000 people at this game, but
Was there actually 5,000?
the attendance on FOTMob said 5,011.
I don't.
There
I
was a
guess
90-minute delay.
I know. I know.
It was
But to
late.
me, 5,000 seems high, and I have this like. I would like to know if some of these teams are just counting tickets sold. I don't feel like they're taking and obviously for the game like this, you probably not would rather mark tickets sold, but I feel like I want to know the number of tickets scanned. Because I think teams just kind of get to pick and choose what they do, and so sometimes we're not getting completely accurate numbers. Because I don't know, I look at the stands and I'm just like, I don't know if it was that. I do think for this game because of the delay, I'm not gonna be harsh on it, but I don't know.
Oh, they have a podcast. Racing
Right.
Louisville has a fan podcast.
What's it called?
Butchertown Rundown, a Racing Louisville podcast.
I have 52 episodes. Damn.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what they have to say. We should go follow them on the Cooler Guild Twitter.
We should. They also have a player podcast, but that's not our space.
I was trying to
Um,
look up Louisville's attendance announcement
mm.
when I came
I don't
across
think
that.
I don't think teams like ever want to admit that they're not using the scanned thing. Because I remember like the Rain made a big deal about that when they were doing some of the like higher promoted matches.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to make sure that that was like a genuine number that nobody could argue with.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe there was really that many people. I don't know.
I didn't listen to the post-game press conference because the Sounders were playing Portland, which I shouldn't have watched.
Yeah, I made that mistake too. Better choices could have been made.
Notable stats from the game.
Yeah, let's go over those.
First road win.
Yep.
Yeah.
First road win for the Rain this season.
This year.
Jesus Christ. That's so bad.
Yeah, the last regular season road win was October 15th, 2023.
Yikes.
They hadn't had consecutive wins in a regular season since 3-game win streak in April 2023.
See, this is like people like to say like, oh, this is gonna be a down year for the Rain, and I'm like, we've kind of been looking like we're gonna have some serious issues for a while, and here we are, hopefully mending it now.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that us getting to the final kind of I don't know, put some rose-colored glasses on for like the actual problems maybe that we were facing.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know when we'll see if this new team that we have is capable of getting us back to like the Laura Harvey days of our second year in the league where we just dominated. Because
Yeah.
I would like to get back there.
I'd like to get back there too. I did see one quote from the post-match presser, Puerta talking about just how their goal is playoffs.
Mhm.
So they're looking towards that. So they know what they need to do.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy.
No.
And I think
But I'm glad they're not just resigned.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, maybe they are and they're not saying it, but that seemed to me to be a genuine conversation that the team is having, that it is possible. We're 4 points below the playoff line right now.
Yeah, this league's a lot of teams get into the playoffs. That is the benefit of this league is that we still have a chance. And it's not gonna be without a lot of like you're gonna have to go on a run. You can't be fucking around at all. So they're gonna really have to win in ways that might be ugly, which is kind of what we got here today. I mean, obviously G's goals, beautiful, but they're gonna have to figure these out. And I don't know. It gives us something to root for when watching these games.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't need to win the supporter shield. That's not going to happen.
mhm.
But, a chance to get into playoffs and see the team continue on. I'm excited that we are trending upwards in the standings.
And if they make the playoffs, we all know that once you make the playoffs, anything can happen. So if they get there, then they can really kind of just throw everything at it and
Hmm.
hope for the best. So I would love to see that. We figured out, well, someone on, was it Riley Valkyries,
Hmm.
figured out that Ji So Yoon is the only other player other than Megan Rapinoe to score a direct free kick goal since Lou Barnes. I think you pulled that up, right? That's that goal since Lou Barnes in September 2016.
Yep.
I mean, obviously Rapinoe is taking our free kicks, right? So it's not like the most shocking stat because she's been with the club since the beginning, but woof.
I know. I think another funny antidote from that game that Lou Barnes scored the free kick in is that Huerta actually scored on us in that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Huh. What other stats?
Yeah, it was also Latsko's 100th regular season appearance in the league. She's had 53 appearances for Reign and 47 for Houston. That's cool. She got to hit that 100 mark.
One game after Harvey's 100th win.
Yeah, which brings me to that, which we forgot to talk about last week. It finally happened.
It finally happened. Laura Harvey is the first NWSL coach to get 100 wins in the league. So, congrats. Huge, huge honor to be able to say that she's our coach. And
Hmm.
she's been our coach for most of those wins, besides the little stint she did in Utah. But I would say I don't know if I saw that coming after our first season in the league.
No.
I mean, I didn't feel like it was a coaching problem that first season. It was a lot of problems, but yeah. I if you go look at how she's done since that second season, is she's just been a coach you don't want to face.
Right.
Well deserved.
Congrats.
Should we move into cooler player of the match?
So moving on, we've got an exciting kind of mix-up update.
Yep.
The cooler player of the match is now brought to you by the doctor's office, which, as you all know,
Our very first sponsor.
is our very first sponsor, which is the coolest little 12C bar on Capitol Hill.
Our good friend runs it. He is a longtime fan of the Rain. We run into him at matches anytime we, catch one together.
If you see a guy in a really cool outfit,
Yeah,
it's
that's
probably him.
It's probably him. But his bar is super, super cool. Very swanky, very good vibes. Worth checking out.
It's also just quirky and such a fun experience.
I've never been to a bar like that before in the
No.
best way possible.
So the cooler player of the match this week, brought to you by TDO Seattle, Ji So Yoon.
Ji So Yoon. Obvious. I think it's pretty obvious why. I know where to got player of the match, but Ji So Yoon. We've been waiting for this moment, and it's here, and she deserves all of the flowers.
100%.
Hoping to see more. Hoping this gets her confidence back up. I know she's kind of not maybe been. I don't know. It's been a while since she's been in a league at this level, so now she's hitting her stride.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that her playing time's kind of been all over the place.
Yeah.
So that's hard to navigate as a player, but you like to see when players make the most of the time that they're given.
That's what we saw with Pino.
It's what we saw with the Damas.
Yep. Young or old. We're not ageist. Make the most
So,
of your time.
yeah. Welcome to the Cooler Player of the Match Hall of Fame, Ji So Yoon.
Welcome. Congrats. Thank you once again to Doctor's Office for sponsoring Cooler Player of the Match. Go celebrate Harvey's 100th win with the Boss Cocktail.
What a fitting name.
I know. It's a wintry mix of bourbon, black walnut, aged apple brandy, and a unique sherry cinnamon syrup.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Mm-hmm. So go check out their Instagram at TDO Seattle, or better yet, go drink there in person.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, let's get into other happenings.
Let's talk about the team a little bit. We got some news today that the Reign have signed Swedish defender Hannah Glass. I'm excited for this one. I think it'll be good to have a little bit more depth back there. And she's been in the league for a little bit, so
She's kind of got a weird history with injuries and stuff like that. So I think that's why we got such a deal on her.
Yeah, 4 ACL surgeries.
That's wild. No clue how that's going to play out. But the way that
Talk about resilient.
that's right. That's what we're all about here. It's players that have no issues possibly getting injured again. Um, the deal that they got for her was like, I mean, it didn't cost us much. There's some
Mm-mm.
like performance incentives. So like if she really isn't healthy enough or whatever, then like we aren't really losing anything. And even then it's just an extra 10,000 whatever for it. So yeah, I think you definitely need some depth, especially with Bug, being away a little bit, and there's some, I don't know, personal stuff going on with Olo. It sounds
Yeah.
like we don't know what's going on there, but we just hope she gets back to whenever she's ready.
Yeah, somebody on the Slack shared Olo was also gone last season for like 6 weeks or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Mm-hmm.
And she shared a bit about just how she felt so supported by Laura Harvey,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was really cool. Because that's what you want from the club that you follow, is
Yeah.
that they're really there and they have your players' best interests at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just goes to show that, at least in this instance, that's the case.
She was an important piece to the team too. So, you don't want to see any player kind of get booted for dealing with whatever they need to deal with outside of soccer or whatever this may be. But I think especially because it's somebody that's important to our team, you want to see them get the support from the club still.
Yeah, I hope to see her back soon, but whatever she needs,
Yeah, good.
which kind of ties into the CBA that was just signed,
We didn't get to talk about that last episode. We kind of had a lot to cover, and so we didn't get to talk about the CBA either.
which really just went into effect. But in honor of Labor Day, that was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, unions! I'm a union member.
I'm not, but I support them. Ally.
I love being in a union. I
Ally.
happily pay my dues,
No more entry or expansion drafts. That's
which is
huge.
just so huge.
Yeah, the expansion drafts are miserable.
Expansion drafts are miserable. The entry draft tied players up, even
Yeah.
if they weren't going to be
Yeah.
used. I mean, it was the same kind of gripes we had at the beginning of the season talking about Mesa.
Yeah, and speaking of Louisville, with the way that they got like Tobin Heath rights and all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that's gonna be happening ever again.
Nope. That's a good part. I mean, and then also another great thing is free agency.
Yep.
So
Everybody.
everybody has free agency, your contracts are guaranteed, and you're not moving anywhere unless you agree to it.
Which it sounded like Bethany Balcer would have vetoed the move in the interview that she did about this move to Louisville. She might have vetoed it had this been in effect when it happened. So that's the part to me that's going to be interesting to watch play out, because what if you do have a player that you'd like to move on from and maybe get, they have some value in them, and this is a part of sports, right? Is like trading players while they have value. So if a player doesn't want to leave, then what do? You really gotta do some thinking, be smart, and also like have a good reputation.
Yeah, but if you're not trading a player if they're not performing,
Yeah, but I'm just
unless
like,
they want to go.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. What if they refuse to? What if they refuse? I
It'll
don't know,
be interesting
because
to
then
see.
but then you have to make it work with them, right?
Yeah, it'll be something really interesting to see play out. You might just not see them on a game day roster.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what kind of that does to the environment and kind of,
I don't think it'll change a lot. I think players having the ability to be where they want to be is only helpful to everyone.
yeah, I guess it changes the dynamic that this is maybe just something we're not used to. It changes the dynamic with ownership and the coaches and everything, right? Because they kind of hold this power above them, and now that's going to be not so, I don't know, imbalanced.
Yeah. But I think too, like, you're just going to have players that are more content to be there
Mm-hmm.
because players are there because they want to be.
Yeah, they're not going to be worried about leaving.
Yeah, and for players that don't make that much money to have to uproot their lives out of nowhere,
Yeah, I'm not
like, that's
against it. I'm just like really curious to see how this is going to play out.
for sure. Another thing, charter flights. So now
You get a total of 6 charter flights, which the Reign used theirs on their flight to Louisville this past week because there's no direct flights to Louisville from Seattle.
Yeah, so it's 6 flight legs, so 3 round trip that you're entitled to, without needing approval. And then clubs are required to charter for certain midweek games, which I think is great. Another thing that I thought was really interesting was The clubs will phase out team provided housing as part of player compensation.
Ooh, I think I missed that.
So what's really interesting is that they were able to house players,
Hmm.
right, in a club owned house or apartment or whatnot, and use that as part of their salary. So they
Hmm.
were taxed on that rent
Oh,
that they
okay.
were supposedly
Okay.
paying.
Yeah.
So housing is no longer included in that salary.
Okay. I mean, if the players agreed upon it, then great.
Yeah. So over the next 6 years, if as long as they don't renegotiate, the cap of how much teams can spend on player salaries will rise from 2.75 million in 2024 to at least 5.1 million in 2030.
Do you have the minimum salary pulled up too there? Because that's pretty notable.
Yeah, minimum salary in 2025 will be 48.5 thousand, eventually getting to 82.5 thousand by 2030.
Yeah.
And there's no maximum salary now.
That's gonna be like if you're in certain cities, that's gonna go much further kind of thing.
Right. And that's kind of what they were talking about. But with the guaranteed minimum base salary cap, that
Mhm.
helps ensure players get paid even if revenue drops off
Okay.
because they're also implementing some sort of revenue sharing with clubs that plays into player salaries.
Okay.
I'm
That's
not quite
cool.
sure how that's going to work, but when they do their financial call at the end of the season, I'm sure we'll hear a lot more.
This CBA is like probably one of the biggest and craziest things we've ever seen in this country.
Hmm.
So good for the players for coming up with everything they wanted and getting it, everything that they got at least.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of needed to do something like this because of the way the sport's going overseas. They want to stay at the top for this
Yeah.
league. Because I don't think you want to come over here if you're over in England or Spain or wherever, and someone might just trade you and you didn't agree to it.
Yeah, that would not be fun.
No, I just feel like there's certain locations in this league where if you're, I don't know, queer, black, some minority, there's certain places in this country you definitely do not want to be traded to.
Or an international player.
Yeah, yeah. So now they've got control of a lot of things now, and that's really great.
So congrats to the NWSL Players Association on getting that done.
Seem proud of it, and they should be.
Other games around the league this week.
I pointed this out to you, but I just, thought we should celebrate the goalkeeping in Portland. The new goalkeeping in Portland. I have my Australia jersey on, because just star performance out in Portland.
Oh, so bad. So they signed Mackenzie Arnold, I think coming off the high from the World Cup.
But first of all, the high wasn't even good. She was one of the
Oh,
lowest performing goalkeepers there.
I know.
Fine by me. Like I said, I'm wearing my Australia jersey and I'm happy.
Yeah, it's great for us that are not fans of Portland. It was gratifying to see Portland women's soccer Twitter be so upset about it. I just kept sending you articles.
It didn't seem like anyone was happy with the signing when it happened. And I was talking to at like the labor, like we had like a little barbecue yesterday at my mother-in-law's, and my wife's like cousin like his girlfriend was there, and she's a big Portland Thorns fan, and she used to play as well, and she played center back, so she's also pretty critical of goalkeepers. And she just put her head down when I brought up Mackenzie Arnold. She was like, I don't want to talk about her. I was so mad when she got signed.
Crazy to
Interesting
me.
signing. Interesting signing. Maybe it changes. I don't know. But if that's gonna be your starting keeper, um, interesting.
I do have to say I am biased because their second goalkeeper is not great, but they do have a third goalkeeper on their
Uh,
roster who does not have an appearance yet, who could be very valuable to your team. And it helps that she played on my team here, FC Olympia, but
Doesn't hurt.
Kat Asman,
Where
Penn State,
you got to give people a chance sometimes. But I don't think the annoying thing is she's not gonna get her chance now because of they're putting all their cards in on Mackenzie Arnold.
which is just insane.
Yeah, I mean, insane, interesting, fun to watch from a
Good
rain
for us.
perspective.
Yeah.
They lost pretty bad. Sophia Smith did get a goal for them, but they still lost 3-1 to, of all teams, Bay FC, who are not good. Not good at all. They should
No.
have won that game.
Well, they didn't. Woo!
Woo. Any other things happen in the league over the weekend? There was Chewinga.
Oh God, what a player! She just is so quick
Yeah.
and so smart in her positioning
Yeah.
that she was able just to rip a ball off the defender and go score it.
Yeah. They did lose still, which is, like I said, fraud watch. They are on fraud watch still for me. They're still there. I'm not taking them off.
I think the stat was something to do with years ago, Alex Morgan won the Golden Boot with 14 goals,
Hmm.
but Chewinga has 14 goals right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, if I want to be an elite team in this league, I need a goal scorer. I mean, it could even be half of what Chewinga does. I know she's just like next level. But yeah, I long for the day we have a goal scorer like that. I mean, there will probably
I'm
never be another Chewinga, but and then Orlando has still not been beaten.
there.
Unbelievable. How many games have they played? Is it 18?
Are they 18 now or are they
Yeah, we're all
17?
at 18 this week.
Okay.
So they haven't lost a match in like if you go back even further with regular season games, it goes back even further. But that's 13 wins, 5 draws. It's just unreal.
Tying it back to the game, I didn't mention this, but Mondesir did play well.
Mm-hmm.
I just love her attacking prowess and taking players on.
Yeah,
And
her movement.
I think that it inspires other players to be a little bit more bold and brave.
Yeah, I think once she gets more minutes under and she can go further in the match, or even sub on earlier, right? Like I don't, kind of that extra spark of the
Yeah.
last like 30 minutes or so, hopefully earlier, Laura Harvey.
I did see Sarah Gordon
Oh God,
get
yeah.
absolutely rocked.
Two black eyes, right?
Yeah.
Two black eyes, stitches in the middle of the match and still
N-
kept playing. Who
I don't know
decided
how you
she,
pass concussion protocol
yeah,
after
who
that.
decided she shouldn't get pulled out?
I don't know. It seems fishy,
I mean, things have been kind of
but they still
weird
won the
there.
game.
Yeah, at what cost?
Utah did beat Houston, though.
But Houston sucks,
Yeah, I mean, they're in last place now.
which had kind of been a long time coming, I feel like. I mean, the Utah is really bad too.
Yeah,
But
Utah made some signings, though.
well, yeah, but they were also out with because they got their other big player, Sentnor, is out at the
Mm-hmm.
U20 World Cup as well.
No, they
And
still won.
they still
So,
won. Yeah, good for them. And I'm happy to see teams below us beating teams that can keep other teams below us because that's what
mm-hmm.
we need. As long as we keep winning and staying above those teams, it's fine.
Yeah,
Because this racing game was kind of a big deal with the standings too.
for sure.
Did what we needed to do. This Louisville game was so big, both for the signing off, whatever you want to call it, to see who won the signing trade up the trade off
Could be.
the trade off. We'll call it that. So the trade off, we were trying to figure out who wins the trade off, but also the standings were so damn tight that like if we would have lost the trade off and lost this game, this would have really put us in a hole.
Yeah, we won. We won
We
that
won
trade.
the trade off. This trade off
We won the trade.
so far.
I feel like if Bethany Balzer is gonna have a revenge tour, it starts against the Reign, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but looking forward to next week. So let's take a break before we preview the next match.
We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to the Sounder at Heart Podcast Network, which now includes No Sarietes, Lobbing Scorchers, and the Cooler Guild. We've been independent since August of 2023, but need your support to make sure it continues. Although this podcast is free, it's only made possible by your continued support. Memberships start as low as $25 a year, which not only helps make podcasts like this one happen, but also gets you access to everything we produce. If you're able to support us at higher levels, starting at $75 a year, you gain access to a host of other perks, most notably entry into our members-only Discord, where the smartest, funniest, and most engaged commenters share their thoughts and ideas. To find out more, just visit sounderatheart.com and click the subscribe button in the top right corner. Thanks for listening.
And we're back.
And we're going to play Friday. We get the Amazon Prime game.
Yes, indeed. I love the Amazon Prime games. I made the mistake of thinking the last game was an Amazon Prime game and they were just extending to Saturdays, but apparently on Saturdays or some Saturdays they put the Ion games on Amazon Prime as well.
Yeah, it's one of their like select channels where if you like have Amazon Prime,
Ah,
it's
okay.
like a live TV offering.
Love the Amazon broadcasts. Production quality is always top notch.
It's so good. But yeah, we play Friday night, 7 p.m. our time, at Angel City.
Also their time.
But for our East Coast listeners,
Yeah, we do have a lot of East Coast listeners. We've also got some European listeners, so
yeah, shout out the one Vermont listener we have. I see you.
me too.
Oh, I was watching Price is Right today,
Mm-hmm.
and this lady won like a cabin getaway trip in Burlington, Vermont.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And she was like, "That's where I live."
Oh no. Staycation.
I live in Vermont. And
Did
he was
she-
like, how close do you live to Burlington? She's like, about an hour and a half.
Did she look fired up though? I bet she was still fired up.
Oh,
right?
she's stoked.
Yeah.
She's stoked.
I mean, it's kind of nice to like get a staycation because like traveling is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on the Price is Right, so you would hope it's like Tahiti or something, but you know,
Yeah.
when in
I thought-
Burlington.
So we play Angel City Friday the 6th. We are 7-1-1 against them
Yeah,
all time.
We usually play pretty well against them.
We hope we can make it 8-1-1 against Angel City, but we will be at a bit of a disadvantage because Jalen Howell got a yellow card in the last game, which makes her ineligible for this game because she has to serve a yellow card accumulation suspension. So our
New favorite
star
player.
promising
Yeah.
player will be out. And I do have to mention that one of the really great things in the post game interview was they had her on for the post game, win player interview
Mm-hmm.
on the broadcast, and Phoebe McLaren and Jordan
Oh
Heidema
yeah.
came and
that.
ran over and were like taking her headphones off and we're like, we're sorry, she's got to come celebrate, and she like put them back on and was like, I gotta go, I'm sorry, but thank you, and like took them off, and then they ran over to the celebration and she's in the middle just jumping up and down,
Which
incredible.
It was so the vibes were so good, right? I just felt like the change and shift of energy of the club and the team. But the funniest part to me was, and I know they love their light shows at Louisville, but if you notice when you go watch that clip, Louisville like shuts their lights off like mid celebration of like her jumping in the middle. I'm like, that seems intentional, like because they were starting to take photos, above of it.
Yeah.
And then the lights just got shut off. And I'm like, that's shady, but also maybe you shouldn't have lost.
I just love the atmosphere of a player that was signed like
yeah.
2 weeks before.
Oh, yeah.
And other players
embracing them like that.
Yeah. Making sure that they're included. And then just like the utter joy of her jumping around.
I know.
I was just like, all right, this is good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Howell will be out. We haven't played them in a while.
Angel City.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't won in a while before these last two games, and that's usually because we haven't played Angel City recently.
Fair.
Well, last time we played them was 1-0 meeting in the quarterfinal, win at home. That was a Latsko header.
Oh, what a game.
87th minute winner.
That was an incredible game.
It was a great game. Pino's last home game. First playoff. Oh my God. I hate saying this stat. I hate it so much. First playoff win since 2015. We loved getting to the playoffs. We didn't like advancing though. Kind of cool though. It looks like Rough and Tumble's gonna be doing a little watch party for that match. You do have to get a ticket. They're complimentary, but I think they just want to make sure they don't like go over capacity and have people waiting because it does get very crowded for those. So go online. There's limited tickets available still. They got links, I believe, on their Instagram for Rough and Tumble. Doors at 5:30. Should be a great time. Highly recommend going there.
We've enjoyed ourselves when we've gone.
Yeah, it's a great time. Love Jen. Shout out Jen.
Other shout outs?
Yeah, speaking of other shout outs, we always got to shout out the teams below us.
Which now there are 3.
Now there's 3 because we only had 1 before. We're up to a total of 3 now. You want to shout them out?
Yeah. So shout outs to San Diego Wave.
Whoop whoop.
Utah Royals.
Meow, meow, meow.
Houston Dash.
That was fireworks.
So hopefully we can keep adding to the teams below us.
I know. That's the dream, right? That's the dream. I mean, I don't think we're going to get that many more if we make the playoffs, but we just need to get in there. We just need a few below us. A little more than what we have right now, but I'll take whatever we can get.
What a week.
What a
I'm
week.
happy to be happy podcasting about it.
Yeah. Fun fact, we had our most ever. I posted this on our Instagram. We are starting to finally get the Instagram going, but we had our most ever listeners for a single episode
I know.
for the last episode. So that's great.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, people are sharing. People are sharing. People are listening because it's not just like sometimes the last, like, I don't know, our early episodes, we had a lot of listeners. It was like me testing the episode. So it was like 4 listens from the same location and it was my house.
You can't tell exactly where it is, but you're the only person in Astoria.
Yeah, but like now we're getting them all over the place, and my testing's getting better, so there's only 1 listen from me. But yeah, we really, really appreciate everybody that's been tuning in, and we're getting more subscribers in from our link on Sounder at Heart, so that's super cool. You can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and also on Instagram at Cooler Guild Pod.
You can send us an email. We love an email. That address is thecoolerguild@gmail.com.
We're also on Sounder at Heart. You can go to our site there, our page there at Sounder at
You
Heart.
could just say go subscribe.
You can subscribe at sounderheart.com/thecoolerguild.
Excellent.
Go check out more Ride of the Valkyrie stuff if you haven't, because we love them. They're the best. Good people, good articles, good feedback, good insight, good
Information, good stats, good facts.
good friends. We love you folks. And if you're listening, wherever you're listening, please go rate 5 stars. Anything else you want to plug in?
No, we'll be back next week.
Hopefully with another dub. Our friends over at Lobbying Scorchers are finally getting a taste of what we were dealing with. I feel bad for them, but not that bad because we're getting to record wins. So, woo woo! Till next time, I'm Coop.
I'm Van.
Bye.
Bye.
Some people wait a lifetime for that one special kiss.
Okay.
There's other lyrics that aren't involving kiss, but I chose that one. Anyways,